Hello and welcome to the 500 workshop. Today we're going to be changing our transmission oil, so that's the gearbox oil on our car. Now that's going to be under the car, so it's going to be a bit of a tricky film, but we will try and do it, and I'll show you what to do as we go along. So here we have our transmission under the car, our gearbox. I would try and show you the different pieces of it. I'm going to go around from the other side and then try and point out what we have. So here you should be able to see is our drain plug. You can see that it's got a drip on it already. So we know that we've probably got a little bit of a leak, and I can see it travelling down the casing as well. And then round this side somewhere, let's see if I can feel it because I can't see it right now. Where's it gone? Sorry, just here is our filler plug. Now these look different on 126 gearbox, but this is the original 500 gearbox, so this is what we're going to do. God, there's quite a lot of oil on here actually, so I'll give that a bit of a clean up while we go. And it might be that we've got a leaky seal inside, but I'm not overly worried about that right now. Most of these cars leak at some point or another. It's more of a problem if it doesn't have oil in than if we have a little bit of a leak from time to time. So first thing we're going to do is drain the oil from this plug here. Again, I think it's 17. So we've got an oil catcher, which you can't see right now, underneath. And we're going to remove this plug and drain the oil into there. So we're back with the 17 ratchet, going to put it on here. And we're going to take it off. I'm on a crawler, so the crawler's moving, and that's not. Let's try and brace myself. Oh, that's tight. So I'm going to try and break this off. There we go. So that's quite a tight bolt at the moment. Should be able to use a ratchet now on it. Quite quick with that. And what these do have on the bottom here is a magnet which picks up all the nice little bits of metal where you crunched your gears. So there's quite a few little bits there, just little flakes, but obviously that shows somewhere. The oil is really nice and clean actually, so it's probably not been too long since I've done this job previously. We're going to let the oil drain out of that as we did before. We're going to clean up this. We're going to run some PFT tape around the sump plug because it did have a small leak. So hopefully that will prevent it from leaking in future. We're just going to let that run out though now and come back in 5 or 10 minutes time. So here's our transmission drain nut. I've cleaned it all up so you can now see the magnet underneath, and that's what came out from it. So lots of tiny fine bits of metal in there, and this is a crunch gearbox, so you'd expect that. It's not unusual depending on how great your gear changes are, and
Might need a little bit of practice because it's been a while since I've driven this car. I've got some plumber's PTFE tape, and I'm just going to use that to wrap just once or twice around the thread, and hopefully that will just help it not leak. Like I said, I'm not really overly fussed if it leaks. It leaks such a minor amount that I'm not worried about whether it'll have enough oil in it. So just going to wrap it round twice like that, and then I've just got a pair of scissors, biggest pair of scissors in the world, where I can just snip that off. Just fan it out, get it onto the thread nice and tight, and then when the thread goes round, that should give it a really nice seal. If I've got too much on there, I can just take a layer off, but you don't want too much on there, you still want the thread to actually work. Now here's the transmission oil we're going to be using. Petronas, it's a 80W-90 and an API GL-3. This I got from a Fiat 500 supplier, I think it was Ricambio. And there's two ways that we can fill our transmission with oil. One is to run a pipe into the filler hole, and to put a funnel at the top of that pipe, fill the funnel with oil and let it run down and into the transmission. We're going to do it a slightly different way, so we're going to use a syringe. And when I say a syringe, it's going to be one of these. So these you can buy online or pick them up from kind of car shows or that kind of stuff. We're going to clean it up first just to make sure it's nice and clean before we start, and then we're going to put some transmission oil into a pot, draw up the transmission oil with the syringe, and then feed that transmission oil into the actual gearbox.
Okay, so we all stop leaking now. So we've got our sump plug with our PFT tape on, and we're just going to start putting that in. So you see it's going in pretty well despite the PFT tape. We're just going to tighten this up. Nice and tight, there we go. Now we're going to loosen our filler bolt, which is here. I'll ratchet on to loosen, and here we go. That can be done by hand now. There we go. Okay, do it to one side. And then we're going to take our syringe. Probably can't see this off camera. I'm going to fill it with oil. Draw the oil up. Feed it into our hole, and then push, a bit too fast, push that liquid in. before. Just wipe the drips away, and what we're trying to do is fill it up and wait for it to start coming out the side. So I'm gonna fill up a bit more. Okay, so now we got the overflow. So we know where we need to be. We're just going to let that run and pour out. So that's what you're trying to do, is get to that level. And I know that's a bit of a waste of oil. We probably squirted once too many times, but I think I've used probably about 1.2 litres roughly, I think, of that oil. So make sure you got enough to do the job. Hopefully this will stop the runoff in a minute, and we can put the 14 nut back in, clean it up, and we've done the job. Don't want the capillary action just to keep it going, so we just wipe that, see if it's still going to come a little bit. Okay, this is a very slow drip now. So we're going to put our plug back in. And so it's 14, so we're just going to tighten this up now. There we are, nice and tight. That wipe away, and we're all good. So now we can just dispose of our oil safely, our old oil safely, put the unused oil back in the bottle, and that's our transmission oil change done.